wasn't completely sealed at the net. So you see Bruning able to sneak that swing past.
Now Dylan Pilkvist back there. He is slotted in immediately as a freshman middle blocker.
Serve on that float from Dylan Pilkvist, and he's been a steady server for the team. Had 2 aces in their last win against UCI.
Well, Pilkvist just seems to get better and better as the season has gone on. They're more confident in his abilities. There's Josh Arroyo. He's back into the starting lineup.
And those are 2 new faces that we've seen from that last UCI win. Joe Wallace, perfect pass up to Josh Arroyo. These 2 players had to fight to get back in the starting lineup.
The 2 players that were in the starting lineup at the start of the season. That one nearly got Braden Gonzalez on the way down. They were in the starting lineup at the start of the year, but the competition ramped up in practice and other players started to earn some playing time. Nothing was given at that point. Ethan Saint, the serve received. Looking backdoor, that's Sky over high hands. Cal Lu 3-2.
So 3 errors from the Gauchos to start out this set. 2 missed serves and a missed hit there.
Schobel, and Arroyo a piece of it, stays alive. Backdoor guy bullies the tool out.
And a great swing from Riggs Guy. He's usually hitting on the left side, but he does 1 rotation on the right, and he looks comfortable in that opposite position.
Now it's Guy. Came up short, back to Cal Lu. This Cal Lutheran team last year went 23-7 overall, reached the NCAA tournament semifinal for Division III, ultimately fell to Springfield in the final. That Springfield team is a powerhouse at this level.
And it looks like a net violation there from Arroyo. Tight pass, so Schobel was able to keep it on their side, but it still resulted in a tight set.
That's the expectation, that this one's going to be tight tonight. 364 days ago, Cal Lu took the Gauchos to 5 sets. It put the public on notice. That one's popped up. Saint tries to save it, but right now it's Cal Lu 6-3.
And the Gauchos look out of sorts right now. They're not finding cohesion on the floor, and Cal Lutheran doing a good job at keeping the ball in play and forcing the Gauchos to make an error.
Here's Connor Crawford. Perfect serve received, crushed down in the middle, and they have engaged Josh Arroyo early.
And that's what the Gauchos have looked to do in this season. They know that their pains are going to take the majority of the swings, but that's something that it seems they've worked on to get those middle blockers established early.
So Arroyo established, now at the end line. Block from Bruning, and the Gauchos with a little roof.
And that's a big wall of a block. George Bruning, 6'9", the tallest player on the floor right now.
In finals, they've been back, and it's been tough to kind of get back in a rhythm, but now we see UC. The block from Ethan Saint on the opposite end.
And Josh Arroyo will go. He first stepped on the floor as a Gaucho. That one missing just long. So a couple of wide serves, a little too much heat from the service line.
It's the 4th service error for UCSB this evening. Puts an end to that 3-0 run.
Good serve.
Riggs guy tracks to it. Saint gets it over. In system and through the crease. There goes Tyler Linville.
And that's Cal Lutheran at his best. A great serve to start off the rally. The perfect pass from Gonzalez. And it finds that one-on-one connection for Linville.
Trying to attack Joe Wallace, both offensively and from the line. Caught the hand of Ethan Saint, popped up. Linville, he's denied again. Oh, Bruning's been active at the net.
And great technique on that block from Bruning. He made sure his right hand was slotted so it was turned into the court.
Yeah, well off the net right there. A yellow line swing. Gauchos read it well. Right back to Bruning now.
So another miss serve for the Gauchos. And here's Mason Roll, the freshman from Davis.
Well, that drilled the antenna. And we've noticed they're trying to attack Joe Wallace on the serve. His serve receive has been solid so far, but he's coming off a Big West Player of the Week, Defensive Player of the Week honor. He had a career-high 15 digs against that number 4 UCI team, and many of them came in the most crucial moments.
Yeah, Joe Wallace was phenomenal on the defensive front. Saved so many points in that thriller, 5-set thriller versus UCI. And there we see another side of the Gauchos defense, a 3-person block. So a good read from the blocking team for the Gauchos. And Dylan Pilkvis gets the majority of that one.
It'll be tough to break up that 3-man weave. The Gauchos do it so well, and they pull even. Here's Ethan Saint. That's a screamer. There's Brendan Holm.
And Brendan Ham through the 3-person block. He found a seam between Schobel and Pilkvis there, so a good attack. And that's the kill leader for the Kingsmen, Brendan Ham.
A couple seasons at Lewis. He transfers over, and that Lewis program is among the top in Division I. Just didn't find the right sauce there. It was a different scenery. He needed a new look, and he comes over to Cal Lu, where Hom is the guy. No doubt about it. They run the offense entirely through him, where he is shy of about 300 kills this season. So keep an eye on number 24 in purple this evening as he gets the serve receive there. Crawford kicked the high hands.
It looks like a net violation on Schobel, so point will go to Cal Lu.
UC Santa Barbara 5-0 against Cal Lu all time, but back in early February, Cal Lu took a set against the Gauchos. Santa Barbara would win it in 4. That was down in Thousand Oaks, returning the favor of a home and home here. And I think part of the relationship between Coach Kevin Judd, Coach Rick McLaughlin, it's respect first and foremost. Coach Kevin Judd told me before today, he said, man, I really appreciate that Rick puts us on his schedule because it allows us to get better, and we just want to provide a quality product for them to play and compete at the highest level.
Yeah, and it's not always easy as a D1 school to put the D3 team on the schedule. It's not going to increase their rankings. And there's a great play at the net from Hom. Just goes up and wins the joust here. As you see him go up against Riggs' guy.
Crawford tried to put it away. His eyes got a little too big.
A missed opportunity for Cal Lu.
Anytime you're playing against this Gaucho team, regardless of what level your squad is at, you've got to take advantage of the opportunities for mistakes. Cross angle for Guy the Rover. They set it up for Saint. He's blocked. Oh, what a move. Connor Crawford with the stuff.
And a great three-person block now from the Kingsmen. So doing a good job at reading where that set is going.
Now Crawford back there, his 4th season with the Kingsmen.
And
just scrape the tape and it falls.
And Crawford bringing a lot of energy to the team right now. He's a senior. He was part of the 2024 team that was the NCAA D3 champion. So he has that experience, and he's bringing it tonight.
Wallace the serve receive. Pipe back Brewing. He is just midair and converts.
On the right side, going full crossbody into that angle.
Back to Aria. They went on quite the run when he was up the first time. Aria, Schobel, Saint at the net. He dumps it over. Oh, another big block for the Gauchos. Frankly, both teams have been so active defensively, we haven't been able to get into a rhythm offensively on either side.
Great block, no seams there, and a great dig earlier on in that rally from Aruya, playing his only rotation on defense.
Too much on it. Aruya sends it long. 16-14, Cal-Lu in the first set. Hom, the junior. And just no stopping that from George Brewing.
That's a great look for the Gauchos. Schobel doing that perfect set. He finds the seam in the block, makes it look easy.
Brewing coming off of 20 kills in that contest against UCI last week. He's been just on a tear. Double digits in 7 straight as he goes long here, but just a guy who has found his rhythm and playing his best volleyball right now in March. Schobel looks Brewing on the back row attack. It's all money.
Yeah, and Brewing has really stepped up his game. We saw in his previous years a high potential, but not always the steadiness that we've seen from him this season.
Steady's such a great word for it, Katie. He's not just a steady player, but a steady leader. And you see how the rest of his team looks to him in times of trouble. And he is straight-faced, never fades. Just a guy who is always locked in. True captain. Riggs guy. That's down. Kanabani on the way through. Gauchos with another side out.
And I love the pace of that set from Schobel. Riggs guy, an undersized attacker, but he does so well when he's able to go quick and beat the block.
Both teams siding out well. You see Dylan Pilkvist back there. Near an overpass. And the Gauchos tie things up.
And it looks like Rick Olmstead, up referee, is calling an over violation on Cal-Lu. Gavin Galansky, the setter, is in the back row, and he jumped and attacked that ball over the net.
What do you ask for at the barber?
But here's Dylan Pilkvist. They tie 18-18, set number 1.
So the Gauchos have really struggled from the service line in this first set.
It's the 10th service error for UCSB. Up by as many as 3. UC Santa Barbara keeping this one tight toward the end. Out of the timeout break, that was saved by Guy the Rover. Hom, he hit hands, Saint was there. Schobel leaves it. Ethan Saint over high fingertips. Linville bumps it. Now it's Hom tight at the net, and it's poked down by George Bruining.
Great defense on both sides of the net. Another look here at this overset. Bruining using his height to throw that one down. And I like Riggs' guy on this serve. He's taking a little bit off right now to make sure he gets it in.
Well, Ethan Saint will run out of real estate. Cal Lou with the side out to tie things back up. And I think that that's an important note, Katie, that UC Santa Barbara has to focus. Sure, you want to apply service pressure, but right now it's about getting the ball in from the service line.
Yeah, 10 service errors in this first set for the Gauchos.
Bruining picked up from Golansky, out of system here. Hom with the soft touch. Schobel, Wallace, dumped up Bruining. Yellow light cut, and it's denied.
And a great three-person block from Cal Lou. They could see where that set was going. They made sure to fill all the seams so that Bruining could not find any way around. And Cal Lou now leading by 1 in this first set.
Well, how rare do you see this, by the way, with that's the block that we saw a moment ago. You know, with one team hitting 300, the other team nearly in the negative, you wouldn't know which is which. But right now, the Gauchos, with tremendous efficiency, they've just kept Cal Lou in this match with unforced errors from the service line. Bruining, he takes it right back. A powerful swing, tools it out, tied at 23 here.
And Bruining now with 5 kills, leading the Gauchos. A smart tool from him.
Crawford stuffed by Saint. Oh, he just levitated to get those fingertips on the ball.
Great hang time from Ethan Saint. Was reading that ball. He knew it was going to be a tip. And the Gauchos now up by 1. And Cal Lou is going to take a second to talk about it.
Well, let's stay right here. UC Santa Barbara by 1 with set point in the first. Their minds were elsewhere. Now back to competing after just a couple of practices and preparing for this Cal Lou side. Dug up from Schobel. Set point Gauchos. It's out of system. Saint, and he puts it away.
Great elevation from Ethan Saint up against a 3-person block. But he makes it look like nothing. So the Gauchos come back and take set 1.
Not without a fight, but UC Santa Barbara goes into the second, a 1-0 lead over Cal Lou.
Or hitting in the positives for Cal Lutheran.
Well, you know, it's interesting. You look at the serve receptions, and UC Santa Barbara, we talked about those service errors, but Gauchos have had to receive far more serves just because of the unforced errors. UC Santa Barbara has to apply the pressure by making Cal Lou make a play. That first set, far too close for comfort for number 8 UCSB as we're underway here in the second. Linville down the line, he converts.
And a great line swing from Linville, who's out at Thousand Oaks, so he's a local for this Cal Lutheran team. I like that turn from him.
So Linville spent 2 seasons at Moore Park College. That's where Kevin Judd was prior to his time at Cal Lou. There's a little bit of a pipeline between the two. Ethan Saint, just a bruiser in the middle.
And that's a great choice from Cole Schobel to set that quick back row set for Ethan Saint, and he gets him a no-block matchup.
Saint in the first set against UC Irvine. That was down in Irvine. He had a career-high 20 kills, and you just saw him unleashed. Had over 35 total chances. They gave him full reign. UCI, they adjusted in the next match, no doubt about it, but it showed his potential and what he's capable of doing, the sophomore out of Laguna Niguel. Saint again, bully ball.
He is a high flyer and has such a whippy arm, so it's just a fast connection, and he finds the floor again here, an open net.
came up short from Riggs Guy. Back to Matthew Wilcox. Excuse me, that was Maxime Smirnov.
And a good swing from Hom, and it looks like that is Matthew Wilcox. He has a different number on tonight than is on our roster.
We've got him wearing 18. He's in 27. That's the confusion. What's not what we're totally sure about is that he has a homecoming tonight. He's from Santa Barbara. He's got a contingent of fans in the stands. He went to Dos Pueblos High School, a product of. So a nice opportunity for him to get back home and play in front of his family and friends. But wearing a new number tonight, can't confuse that mustache.
Great serve, and there's that serve from Aruya that he's been working on, a jump float serve. He has the high contact, so when he hits it right, it's a flat serve that's hard to decide for the passers whether to take with their platform or to take overhead.
Aruya. Synchronized with Pilkvist. Hey, Katie, one thing that you and I might have overlooked in that first set, it's the 6 blocks from Dylan Pilkvist this evening.
Wow, and Dylan Pilkvist has been leading the Gauchos in blocks. He has been so solid, just a freshman. He came right out into the starting lineup and has not moved from that starting position.
And that's a contested spot for UC Santa Barbara. Here's Saint. But more on that, Pilkvist starting at middle blocker, but a guy like Josh Aruya, that was the expectation coming into the year that it would be his spot and maybe exclusively his spot. But Mikey Denver, Dylan Pilkvist, Josh Aruya, they have all battled for that middle blocking spot. And frankly, a guy like Dylan Pilkvist has certainly earned his time in there. Right on cue, Pilkvist, a finesse touch that's dug up from Gonzalez. Back to the rover, and it's thrown down.
And a great swing there. Just catches the Gaucho defense. Look at that, up. Gonzalez has been so solid all night on the ball control.
And Tyler Linville with the kill. That starts with Gonzalez, Katie, to your point. Bruining, oh yeah.
And that's Bruining's 7th kill of the night, still leading the Gauchos, hitting over 500.
It sure does make it look easy back there. Puts an end to that three-point run for Kalu. 6 even.
And it looks like that toss for Bruining was too low, so right off his toss, it didn't look right.
Now back to Brendan Hunt. Rolled over the tape. Wallace got low for it. Yo-yos it high before Bruining bulldozes to the corner.
And Bruining going straight down the line on that swing, and Gonzalez unable to come up with the dig.
Now Saint back there. That's a home run from Ethan Saint. It'll go back to Kalu.
So the Gauchos still struggling from the service line in this second set. As we mentioned, they had 10 service errors in that first set.
Riggs Guy over high hands. There's Mason Roll. Backdoor, that was Crawford.
And it looks like there was a net violation. So the hit on the overpass went out of bounds, but it looks like that was a net violation on Cal Lutheran. So it will be a challenge. Rick McLaughlin will challenge after Schobel said, I did not touch the net.
Oh, net's not moving right there.
And it looks like it was the foot of Cal Lutheran.
Yeah. That's a good shot from our team. Maybe we could see it one more time.
The up here from Wallace goes over the net, and Linville attacks. And after his attack,
look at that right foot.
A little pike action.
Now the foot clearly got it, and it was a pretty quick call.
So the challenge was successful.
Yeah, it didn't take a lot of time for Shannon Mausias to look that one over. She's the down referee. We mentioned Rick Olmstead, the up referee. Jeff First, Mark Hall along the lines. 8-8 as Pilkvist served it away. Into Matthew Wilcox.
And a good look from Wilcox here, finding the seam in the block. And as we mentioned, Wilcox, a product of Santa Barbara, went to Dos Pueblos High School, has 6 siblings. So he has some fans in the building.
Was an all-league player for Dos Pueblos High School. That's just down the road. Hum. Bruining got there, laid it all on the line. That gets over from Saint. Linville, he is stuffed. Josh Arroyo calls Schobel. No, thank you.
And good work from Arroyo to get all the way to the pin to be there with Schobel.
Now back to Schobel. Cole Schobel.
And
27 aces this season, Katie.
He has been phenomenal in every statistic. And it looks like the setter had a back row attack from Cal Lutheran, so the point will stay with the Gauchos. But we don't see that often when someone catches the ball mid-play. Yeah. Caught us off guard at first.
Caught hands, Riggs guy is there. Schobel right back to him.
And Riggs guy is just so speedy. He passes that ball and Schobel shoots it out to him. And he speeds up to find that kill.
Fast forwarding as Cal Lu now takes a timeout. UCSB up by 2 in the second of errors. The Gauchos on the night hitting 400 and have taken care of business. Now out to a 2-point lead with Schobel, who gets us into motion and make that a 3-point lead. He's got an ace.
And as you mentioned, Matt Schobel, the leading ace weapon for the Gauchos. He has been so good on the service line.
Schobel, one of the best servers this country has to offer. 28th of the season. Wallace pumps it right back over. Linville, he hits high hands. Schobel got there. It's skied into the rafters. Wallace leaves it for Bruining. That's through. Crawford just trying to do too much there.
And the Gauchos really worked for that point. A great dig at the beginning from Wallace, then a run-down hustle play from Schobel. So a full team effort. And it looks like there will be a challenge. And it looks like Cal Lutheran may be challenging that there was a net violation. Another look here as this net goes in the ball. It's close. It looks like Arroyo and Bruning do a good job at pressing over the net. I don't see a... Oh, it looks like there is a net violation.
On Arroyo.
On Arroyo. So successful challenge for Cal Lutheran. And that's going to take Schobel off of the service line. So that's a huge side out for the Kingsmen.
Yeah, flips a 5-0 scoring run and a 2-point swing. Cal Lu within a pair. Kingsmen have Linville at the line. Bruning, Cox back and delivers.
And that hit is so hard to control because he's coming from such a high point and it doesn't have a true top spin. It's almost like a float serve. So you have to really control that, get your body behind that ball.
Did that find fingertips? No, it did not. Clean off the hands, and UCSB remains at the line. 14-10 Gauchos. First set, far tighter. UC Santa Barbara's found something here. Wilcox, it was sent right back home.
And Aruya doing a great job at staying disciplined at the net. It was a perfect pass from Gonzalez. So Aruya respecting Wilcox in that middle blocker position and puts up the wall. A great
Matt
look.
Wilcox.
Another set to Wilcox, who has been great at being available on every play. And the Santa Barbara native gets a much-needed side out for the Kingsmen.
Helps when you keep the middle blockers on their heels. Saint soars in. He converts on the outside.
And that's kind of a textbook play for Ethan Saint. That set pushed wide, and Ethan Saint goes with it and forces the tool.
Now Aruya. A little more sauce on this one, and he fills it up.
That is such a good serve. So much pace on that. It's that flat float serve where it's forcing the passing line to play it with their platform.
And, you know, to add a little bit more to it, he often goes with that float serve. A little less pace, but he changed things up. It got him the ace. Tempo off there. Gives the Gauchos move.
Wow, great line swing from Ethan Saint. He was ready. Look at him get off the net and then whips it to the line.
Gauchos running away with the second.
Alu with only 2.5, so they're doing a great job reading at the net, getting that three-person block up, and they have cleaned it up from the service line. Only 4 service errors in this set compared to the first set where they had 10.
So it's Aruya back there. And that was punched on through.
And
Mason Roll.
Great swing, a really fast. They're going with that quick set in front. And Mason Roll gets up and uses the turn back with just one blocker in front of him.
Back to Crawford. Saint the serve receive.
And it looks like no whistle was called. Or it looks like Rick Olmsted is actually yelling at the Cal Lutheran bench. And they've been vocal tonight.
Yeah, I heard one of them say, what do you tell your barber? It's tough. It's tough to get, you know, opponents off their game. Got to reach deep into the bag.
And not a ton of fans in the Thunderdome tonight.
No.
And so Cal Lutheran, I respect it. They're bringing the energy.
Yeah,
They're bringing their own hecklers.
When you play against a top 10 team, you better bring everything you can.
And in goes Owen Loncar, filling in for George Bruning. And Owen Loncar, the senior out of Pacific Palisades.
4th year with the Gauchos. Loncar flicks it high, lets it fly. Handled by Hum. Galinsky in system. Crawford, deep seam.
And a great swing from Crawford. He made it look like there was no block up here, but he storms in from the back row.
Gavin Galinsky did a nice job putting that on the dot. He's got double-doubles 3 times this year. Had a season-high 52 assists a couple matches back. Saints drills high hands. Oh, looks like he missed the hands. Better yet. Yeah, Cal Lu did a nice job pulling him back in that case.
And here's Hom again.
Hom in the serve. Joe Wallace. Rolled on the net. Longcar gets it over. Schobel throws it down.
And Schobel with the throwdown after a couple of pinball digs from the Gauchos. Unbelievable. Look at this one-arm stab from Joe Wallace. And then another pickup here from Owen Longcar. Sets it up perfectly for Schobel to attack.
Quite the side out from UCSB after a little run from Cal-Lu. That's Aiden Godfrey who comes up short. A few of those Moore Park College guys between Godfrey, Linville, who we've seen today. Braden Gonzalez starting at libero. He came over from Moore Park College.
And Gonzalez was the Western State Conference Libero of the Year at Moore Park College.
He had the serve receive right there a moment ago. Now Wallace handles it so cleanly. Cole Schobel.
And this is when you know Schobel's having fun, is when he is attacking freely, but in comes William Lawler in for Cole Schobel, the junior out of Huntington Beach.
Well, Schobel makes it look easy, but you know, during training sessions and pregame routines, William Lawler can put it on the money. He is a special setter, too.
We admire his setting in warm-ups.
Sure do.
He is on point, setting in that perfect window. Always has a good connection with the hitters.
Yeah, the connection surely looks smooth when he's in there, so excited to see what he can do right now. It's the Gauchos by 8 in the second set. Ethan Saint at the line.
And so another miss serve for the Gauchos. And Cal Lutheran looking for a little run to bring some energy into the next set. And here's Aiden Godfrey, the senior.
And Gauchos will take it back 2 points away from a second set win. Pilkvist and his 6 blocks take the service line. UCSB when they were at home earlier this year. Now the Gauchos in their humble abode. The Thunderdome. UC Santa Barbara 2-9 looking to close things out in 3 against the Cal-Lu Kingsmen. It'll be back to Gavin Galansky at the line. Go ahead, Katie.
UCSB has really climbed the ranks nationally and in the Big West. They started out 17th in the nation, and now they're up. They broke the top 10, so they're now 8th, and they're tied for 3rd in the Big West. And that's a big reason George Bruning, he has been so steady all season. Last match had 20 kills. And tonight, he is on his 10th kill, hitting just around 600.
Well, part of it is Bruning coming into his own, you know, his 3rd year at this point.
And there's a perfect pass from Gonzalez, leads to a kill from Wilcox. Santa Barbara native gets up big on that 3 set.
Tyler Linville back there. Saint on the give and go.
And Saint has such good hang time. He jumps high from that back row and then slams it down.
Well, Cal-Lu has just a couple more matches that really mean something to try and earn an at-large bid. After tonight, they'll play an exhibition against Moore Park College. That's on Saturday of this week. And then 2 against UC Santa Cruz. George Bruning had a block there. He already had 1 solo tonight. Gauchos continue to provide that defensive pressure at the net. But, you know, those 2 matches against UC Santa Cruz will bode to be game changers because Cal-Lu team, they're independent, and in order to make the NCAA tournament, they need to be one of the top 7 teams that would earn an at-large bid. That's been the case the last couple of years, and they need to do that again. Right now, they're 4th in that stretch. They have to finish off the season on a high note. This match, it doesn't matter for their at-large chances, but again, they have to finish well. UC Santa Barbara, on the other hand, well, the Gauchos are getting into the bulk of their Big West schedule. UCSB with a win against number 4 UC Irvine last week. They split that series. That was about a week and a half ago. They also beat number 11 UC San Diego. That was back in early March. Coming up, maybe their toughest matches of the season. They have 2 on the road at number 2 Hawaii. It's tough enough they got to play at Hawaii, but that Stan Sheriff Center is a brutal place to play for any opposing group. Bruining. How did that make its way over from Golansky?
Wow.
At least Ethan Saint puts it away.
Incredible defense on both sides. Cal Lutheran putting up a fight. Some great defense here from Golansky. But the high hand swing earns the Gauchos their 5-2 lead.
Here's Riggs' guy. You know, Katie, and while we have a moment on the topic of Hawaii, just want to send our thoughts and prayers to the island that's dealing with, you know, some torrential storms right now that have been really devastating. So they're going through it, and we just want to send our thoughts and prayers from Santa Barbara to Honolulu.
George Bruning patrolling the net. Great eyes on that overpass. And here's Mikey Denver. He misses into the net. Another Santa Barbara native. Played at Santa Barbara High School.
Between he and Matthew Wilcox, I'm sure this is not the first time they've been on opposite sides of the net. Wilcox, the Dos Pueblos product.
Great pickup from Gonzalez.
Schobel hits Saint. And it's a bit wide.
He wanted that line swing, and he turns it just a tad too wide down that line.
Back to Brendan Hum. Kiss the tape. Schobel back middle. Riggs guy hits Hum in the chest. That's dug up. Back over. Schobel for Bruining. Gets out of the way of that one. And a good decision.
So a great pickup from Hum, and then a great dodge from him later in the play. And that
took the win in each of the first 2 sets this evening. Now back to Brendan Hum, who made a nice read a moment ago.
Great pass from Guy.
Hum. Schobel tried to pop it up. Tyler Linville threw it right back down.
And a team effort from the Kingsmen. Look at that swing from Hum, and then Linville taking care of the overpass.
Kalu with its first lead this third set. Ethan Saint takes care of that.
And that's a great set from Schobel. He goes with a little more pace to the pin here so that Ethan Saint can find the seam in the block.
Back to Bruining now. Only player in double-digit kills for either side this evening. Got another ace as well.
And the Gauchos really have picked up their serve from set 1. They had 10 service errors. Set 2, just 5. And now they're adding on the aces.
It's the 5th ace of the evening for the Gauchos. Linville, that's dug up from Joe Wallace. Riggs guy out of system for Bruining. He snuck it through that crease.
And Riggs guy does such a good job at taking that out-of-system setter role. He leads George Bruining over the line, and he's confident in taking that second ball when Schobel is unable to be there.
Now Bruining remains. Yeah, we were talking about, as he goes into the net, we were talking about why this team has gotten that national recognition lately, and I truly believe it's just George Bruining coming into his own. It's his third year with the Gauchos, but last year really his first time getting that true play. He was in a Big West all-freshman team honor last season, and this year just assumed that leadership role in a totally new way. Oh, there's Dylan Pilkvist. Talk about a freshman that excites.
Yeah, and I agree with that, Max. I think it's a combination of George Bruining. They need that steady powerhouse, but it's also the grit and the heart of their other players. You have Cole Schobel, who plays with so much fire. You have all these players coming in and making a difference in their own roles.
And I think, you know, you mentioned it to me before the game. When you play against opponents in practice that have such a high level of competition and you continue to compete for your starting role in playing time, when you get into the game, it makes it that much easier.
Yeah, you're just ready to play someone else and not have to be competing against your own team. And I think that's something that Rick McLaughlin has told us as far as the lineup changes, is they really make the players earn their position in practice.
And now Schobel, Bruining, nearly earns it there. It's popped up. High over hands and thrown down from Connor Crawford.
And we heard Kevin Judd, the head coach for the Kingsmen, on the sideline saying high, 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 and that's just what Crawford did. Such a good high swing over the top of Dylan Pilkvist's block. And it looks like an over violation called on Ethan Saint, so he's in the back row. He cannot pass that 10-foot line.
Well, that was the case in the first as well. They led for the majority of that first set this evening before the Gauchos would climb back and ultimately hold off Kalu for that final couple of points to win the first. This team is no slouch. Riggs guy out of the break. He is denied. A solo block from Connor Crawford.
And a big dive from Crawford. He was the only blocker up there, and he dove into Riggs guy's angle here. You see Riggs guy trying to sneak it past him, but he is denied.
Bruining. That's some power from number 5.
And that's the 12th kill of the night for George Bruining, hitting just around 400.
Yeah, he's been pacing about 4 kills per set over his last 7. Had that double-double against Lincoln Memorial a few weeks back, 14 and 12. Guy who's just finding himself more and more as the season has gone on. Got the hands. That was Riggs' guy at the net. Now Schobel looks back to Saint on the bick. It's a solo from Matthew Wilcox.
So Cal Lutheran making bigger moves on the block. Watch Wilcox. He dives all the way to his right and seals the net. So a big play from the Dos Pueblos High graduate.
Earns a little nod from head coach Kevin. All right, Matthew, I see you. Stepping into those shoes. And an ace, that's Tyler Linville.
And all the energy is with the Kingsmen right now.
Well, you would think this is a moment for UC Santa Barbara to use a timeout, but the Gauchos have already used a pair in this third set.
And a solid side out from the Gauchos. And now we see Ben Pearson on the floor here in the back row right now. It's Riggs' guy with the kill.
Schobel back to serve. That's been 6 points of the last 7 for Cal Lu. Hahn got it.
And it looks like that hit was sailing out. It was pretty high, but Joe Wallace couldn't decide if it was in or out here.
Decided to play it safe, but wants that one back. Back to Matthew Wilcox.
Yeah, maybe we can get a tighter shot of these Cal-Lu shorts, by the way. Because on one side of the shorts, it's that Kingsman logo. The other side, all purple. I don't know if I've seen anything like it.
And they're repping the Slunks brand. Usually seen on the beach, but very popular in the men's volleyball scene.
Now, you see what's going on there? I mean, it is a fashion statement, that's for sure.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, something that we're locked into as well. Riggs guy shot out of a cannon.
And Riggs guy bringing the heat tonight. That's his 9th kill, hitting upwards of 500.
Whole Gaucho team had been hitting 400 for the match up until the third. This set, that's less than 100 now. Defense is kicked into gear for the Kingsmen. That ball was sailing, but the Gauchos saved it. Kingsmen by 4.
So the Kingsmen making good swings where the Gauchos really have to decide in or out. And I like that style.
Here's Brendan Hahn. Back to Bruining. Gauchos need a run at this point. And Bruining unlocks the lid there with the ace. Nothing lead for the Gauchos with a couple of sets gone by. This Cal-Lu team, they were fairly close in the first. You know, this is a team that's not going to give it away here in the third either. That's Ben Pearson back in. Bruining, no dice. Linville has to push it over. Schobel, Bruining. Dug up from Crawford. Galansky gets there. Bruining into the rafters. Yellow light swing comes on through. Kingsman on the move. Wow, that was yo-yoed high from Riggs guy. Overpass and Pearson puts it away. Oh, that's a heartbreaker.
Wow, amazing defense. Braden Gonzalez for the Kingsmen with 10 digs, just keeping the ball alive. But look at that hustle play from Riggs guy. And then Ben Pearson with the kill on the overpass. His first kill of the night.
Well, Pearson played a critical role in that 5th set win against number 4 UCI last week. I mean, a guy that really came in and somewhat stunned everybody by his success in that one. But for folks who have watched this team all year, they know what he's capable of.
He saved 2 match points with some of the most creative kills I have seen. He was phenomenal coming off the bench.
Well, there's Pearson. Just a bit outside. Cal-Lu 20-17.
And the Gauchos really looking here to make Cal Lutheran play through the rally. They need to keep limiting their errors late in this set.
Backdoor and the finesse touch over. Schobel on the move, hits Pearson. Nice spot.
And there's the creative kill from Pearson, just setting that ball essentially over, but seeing where the block is and getting it right in between.
Well, Pearson is served. Couple of kills through his minimal action this evening. That's over. Gonzalez covers the ground. Schobel, Bruining. So good.
And that's a great play here. Schobel setting it back to Bruining, who's leading the Gauchos in kills.
Let's stay right here. Both teams, I think at this point, have used all their timeouts in this third set. 20-19. It's Cal-Lu over UCSB by just 1. The Kingsmen have led by as many as 4 points in this set. Gauchos have
closed that gap a bit, but you know, you look at a Cal Lu team trying to take a set against Santa Barbara on the road here at the Thunderdome, and they're playing really good volleyball. There are moments where this team is shining, and you can see the potential is there.
I think a huge reason for that is Braden Gonzalez. He is just so steady, and he's keeping the ball alive, making sure Cal Lutheran stays in those rallies, and then it's resulting in some Gaucho errors. So it's allowing them to capitalize on those errors.
11 digs for Braden Gonzalez. He's been paramount in keeping the Cal Lutheran Kingsmen in this one. Saved quite a few points. Gauchos will be back here next Thursday against number 11 CSUN. 2 on the road in Hawaii. In the meantime, that'll be this weekend. Wallace tried to get there in time, unable to do so.
And Linville doing a good job at going sideline to sideline, playing that perimeter, forcing Joe Wallace to extend.
But out of the timeout break, it's a great point for Cal Lu. Linville has been solid this evening. You know, nobody's really jumping off the paper. Maybe a sign from Matthew Wilcox. He's hitting 500 with 4 kills. Riggs guy soars! Cameron Crawford! Excuse me, Connor Crawford, better yet.
And that's a big block from Crawford. He is really making sure he seals down Riggs guy's crossbody line, which is his go-to swing when he's on the left.
Well, he read Riggs guy to a T. Connor Crawford did. 22-19.
Good serve from Galansky.
Forced him out of system. Recycled. Schobel stopped and stuffed.
And Schobel is shut down on his attack on 2. We don't see that often, so great presence from Wilcox there reading the play.
Boy, he read it perfectly. Gauchos trailing 4. They need Bruining. Stays alive, but Gonzalez just can't muscle it over. Much needed sign out for UCSB to keep Cal Lu off a set point.
Some pinball digs from Cal Lutheran. They're not making it easy for the Gauchos. Dylan Pilkfist needs a couple here on the service line.
Galansky, outside Crawford, just wide of the line. Set point, Kingsman.
And Connor Crawford has been phenomenal tonight. That's his 7th kill. 7th kill of the night with the tool.
It's a team high. Linville. Schobel takes matters into his own hands, puts himself back at the service line with UCSB trailing 3 and that many set points for Cal Lu coming up. Schobel never takes anything off. Cal Lu takes a question. Now, you're looking at how UC Santa Barbara will respond, and remember, they played against each other on February 5th. It was a 4-set win for UC Santa Barbara. I think this tells you a little bit more about Cal Lu than it does about the Gauchos. It's a gritty group that has potential to play with the best of them.
They make it work, and it's been their defense prolonging the rallies that has helped them really stay in the game. Matthew Wilcox also a threat out of the middle, hitting 500. He is the most efficient attacker on the floor for the Kingsmen tonight.
Well, back to Cole Schobel. If you're going to point to one thing that has really plagued UCSB tonight, how about the 22 service errors? Joust won by the Kingsmen. Riggs guy leveled it long.
And it looked like he was going for the touch off high hands there.
Want to get Aruya back involved.
And high flying Josh Aruya, he is up, ready for that set. Cole Schobel on his knees, able to find the perfect window.
And Josh Aruya with his 5th kill this evening. He does have the best hitting percentage of any Gaucho out there. He's been splitting time between he, Mikey Denver, Dylan Pilkvist in the middle. But Aruya has been effective. Really didn't see a ton of action up until those last 2 matches against UCI. Early in the season, he was the go-to in the middle.
And another great look for Matthew Wilcox. He has been beating the Gaucho block, able to speed up his arm and find the floor.
And maybe the homecoming king, Matthew Wilcox. Bruining makes it look easy.
A great high swing from Bruning here. He finds the tool. And it is all tied up. Josh Aruya, the only middle blocker for the Gauchos with any kills tonight. Dylan Pilkvist having a great night on the defensive side with 6 blocks.
Schobel, that one's into the stands. Kill for Brendan Hom there.
And it looks like Cal Lutheran is doing a good job at hitting those in-between plays where the Gauchos are having trouble deciding whether that ball is going in or out. So it's more of a flat swing that's going deep at the Gaucho defense.
Wilcox, and this recoils back where it came from. 3-3.
At the service line, George Bruning.
So it's Bruning as Pilkvist checked back in the middle blocker. Bruning. Wilcox. Hom, that is.
And Hom using Cole Schobel on that block. He goes crossbody down the line and he catches Schobel, not pressing his hands all the way into the court.
Now to Crawford.
And that's another unforced error for the Gauchos. So Cal Lutheran with a 2-point lead here in the 4th set.
Yeah, UCSB just not clicking the way that we're used to seeing from this Gaucho team. That's an overpass. Schobel wins the joust on Hom. Backdoor Linville. Popped up, that's Joe Wallace. Bruining skies through and converts on the kill.
And great defense from Joe Wallace. The high hit he takes with his hands, and then Bruning finishes it off with a deep middle swing.
So here's Ethan Saint. Pilkvist is right there for it. It's his 8th block this evening.
So disciplined, he waits and times that perfectly with the tip shot.
Dylan Pilkvist piecing together quite freshman middle blocker out of Manhattan Beach. Already a career high in blocks. Nearly had another. Riggs guy, Pilkvist there. The wall is built, and Santa Barbara's back.
Wow, great effort. Watch Pilkvist, too. He is late here to get over to the pin, but he gives it his best effort, and luckily Riggs guy locked it down.
That's 3 straight for UCSB with Saint back there. Tough one to handle for Brendan Hom. Hom, the give and go. He's stuffed by Pilkvist. Riggs guy Smooth as ever.
And Riggs Guy bringing a lot of fire right now. That's something that the Gauchos have lacked tonight, is kind of that sense of urgency, that fire. And I love Riggs Guy turning to the team. He's just a sophomore, but again, Riggs Guy with a big leadership role on this team.
Well, we've seen it, Katie. Tonight it felt like UCSB has come out flat, but that's not always the case. When they're playing against one of those top 10 teams, this is a squad that has a lot of fire, and maybe they need to be ignited a little bit this evening. Riggs Guy, and he missed the hands.
He saw the big seam in the block, and he wanted that sharp angle swing.
He's just a dig away from a double-double. That puts an end to a 4-point scoring stretch. So it's back to Hum. Too much on it. Been all UCSB over the last few points. Kalu started out this fourth set in a good spot. Pilkvist on the serve. Hum. It's out of system. Saint the diving stab. Left for Riggs Guy into the donut hole, and that drops.
The perfect placement with the set over, but props to Ethan Saint laying it out to pop that ball up and give the Gauchos a chance. And it looks like there'll be a substitution for Cal Lutheran. Aiden Godfrey in for Brendan Hum.
Godfrey, as a junior, played just 18 sets last year. This season, he's played in just about every match for Kalu. They attack him right off the jump. Crawford stuffed. They get it right back. Linville opposite Penn. He missed the fingertips. Here in the fourth to force a fifth, Dylan Pilkvist back at the service line. He's got 9 blocks this evening. That's a career high. Linville, a sharp cut down the line.
And Linville has had a lot of success turning it down the line when he has 3 blockers in front of him, and that's a good feat, but he's taking advantage of the smaller of those blockers in Cole Schobel.
Well, Schobel, the dump himself, but that's why.
And it looks like the line referee did not have a good angle on the play. So Rick Olmstead overturning it with the out call.
Yeah, it was Rick's call, the up referee, but you look to the Gaucho bench, and even guys at the Gaucho bench, they said, yeah, that one's out. Don't challenge it. That was Bruining who had a chance, but Crawford picked it up. Ah, the Kingsmen are right back. They're within 1.
And Linville has been great, sparking this comeback for Cal Lutheran.
Kalu within striking distance. Ethan Saint on the pick. A stuff in the middle.
And Galansky got the majority of that one, and he has been great tonight on defense. And at the net, he's diving way into Ethan Saint's swing. A good read from the setter. 4th
block as well for Matthew Wilcox, who was there. That was just hammered long. That was 4 straight points, however, for Cal Lu. And I mean, whatever was said during that timeout break certainly got to him. Now back to Schobel. He's got 36 assists this evening.
And it looks like he didn't get his normal amount of top spin on that ball, so it sails long.
First service error of this set right there. Schobel, Bruining, elevates and executes.
And it Good high swing from George Bruning off hands. He's using his height to go over the top of the block.
Yeah, speaking of height, this is a sizable group in with Bruning and Josh Arroyo. Now Riggs Guy from the line. Gonzalez, the serve receive. Linville.
And Linville continues his run. That's his 8th kill, a smart tool. He was pushed out wide to the pin, and he goes wrist away to get the tool.
Schobel read it well to keep it with the Gauchos. Bruning somehow muscled that over.
And Bruning does some magic at the net here, saving that tight set.
How does he get his arm over there and then react quick enough to pull it back and not get a net violation?
A good limbo at the net.
Yeah. He never comes off. Just a guy who is always locked and loaded. As Arroyo goes into the net there. Josh Arroyo has the most serves of any player this evening for either side. Gives you a sense of how he's been able to go on those runs, but they get him off the line right there. Schobel for Saint. That's good.
And Ethan Saint has been working hard all match to be in a good position, no matter if it's an in-system or out-of-system set, and it's paying off.
Now back to Bruning. He's got 18 kills. Bruning with a couple aces as well. 2 of the 6 for the Gauchos this evening. Oh, that's a hot shot.
Wow. Great pinball play, and the Gauchos earn a replay. It was an early call from Rick Olmstead.
And regardless of whether UCSB would have gotten that ball over, which they wouldn't have, the whistle was blown early, which forces a replay of the point.
And Rick Olmstead initially thought that that ball was down, but it was just that pinball UCSB defense. And we've talked to a lot of coaches that come here in the Thunderdome to play the Gauchos, and they say, you know what, it's hard to play this team. They're so scrappy. They never let the ball hit the floor.
And that's what we saw against that UC Irvine squad a couple weeks back as well. A team that had UC Santa Barbara on match point a couple of times and some tremendous defensive moves, kept the Gauchos alive, gave them match point, flipped the script, and ultimately gave them the 5-set win against the top 5 team.
So the Gauchos earned that point after almost not even having an opportunity to get the ball over.
And that was Bruning's 19th kill of the evening. Pilkvist reaches over to send it back. Opposite pin. That's strong from Godfrey.
And the Gauchos fired up with their 3-point lead. And it looks like Brendan Hom will check back in.
Bruning been at the forefront of this 3-point run. Hom, the serve receive. Give and go. Caught the hands, Bruning there. Schobel looking Saint on the other end. Back to him. That's long.
So Cal Lutheran doing a good job at putting up a block, prolonging the rally, and then waiting for that Gaucho error.
Well, now Crawford. Connor Crawford, 7 kills, 7 digs this evening. Got it over cleanly. Pilkvist, he's got his first of the night.
That was a clean look for Pilkvist here. Fast off the hands of Schobel, and he speeds up his arm to find the floor.
Really been the outsides who've got the bulk of the workload for UCSB. Wallace pumps it right back over. Kingsman on the move. Galansky outside. Hom converts.
And Hom changes it up. He's been going back to the line. This time, he goes sharp angle at that off blocker, and Riggs Guy's still on the move. He's unable to pop it up.
Kalu trailing 2. Hom, ball in hand.
It'll be Dylan Pilkvist, the freshman, who already has his career high in blocks with 9 so far tonight.
Galansky looking back door. Pilkvist extends for it to set up from Riggs Guy. That's dug up from Brendan Hom. Crawford, he converts.
And it seems like whenever the Kingsmen need a kill, it's Crawford who answers. He came up big in the third set.
A couple of service errors for the Kingsmen over the last few points. For the Gauchos, a break and a half. UCSB by 3 in the fourth. A total roof. Riggs Guy, Josh Aruya, George Bruining, nowhere to go. Gauchos taking a break from Big West play this evening. Start out 2-1 in one of the toughest conferences the nation has to offer. Taking on Cal Lutheran, ranked 6th in Division III coming into this evening. Linville, sharp angle, and he missed it wide. Well, Cal Lutheran has really started to come alive on the defensive side. This is a team that through the first couple of sets this evening, just 2.5 total blocks. That number's ballooned up to 8 total blocks now halfway through the fourth. But the Gauchos continue to be effective, and George Bruining just having his way. He is now hitting over 500 with 20 kills.
And that's a great set from Joe Wallace, perfectly leading Bruining.
Schobel and the Gauchos, a 4-point rally. Nearly had the ace, picked up from Galansky. Linville puts an end to the run.
And that's due to the heads-up play from Galansky, making sure that he gets that trickle off the tape of the serve. Oftentimes those are an ace, hard to pass for the passing line, but Galansky, attention to detail.
Right in the fireplace, that ball was down.
So George Bruining now 20 kills on the night.
Dug up from Gonzalez. Missed it long. Gauchos have match point here.
Good pressure from Riggs Guy on this serve. Really forcing Gonzalez to lay out and cover a lot of court.
Got some heat in the chamber. Riggs Guy muscles it over. Crawford, Wallace there.
And it looks
and
like
a net violation.
And that dig was going out of bounds. So a true point for Cal Lutheran.
Back to serve, Tyler
Linville. Match point, UC Santa Barbara. Aruya down the chute. That's ball game. A 4-set win. Number 8 UCSB over Kalu. Gauchos take care of business at home.
And it started with a kill from Josh Aruya, and it will end with a kill from Josh Aruya as he earned his 5th kill on the night. And Cal Lutheran putting up a battle, making the Gauchos earn this 4-set match win.
Well, this is a team to be reckoned with at the Division III level, a group that is in search of yet another NCAA tournament bid. Remember, 2 years back, they won the Division III National Championship. I would say they are a dark horse once again. So don't count out Cal Lu, as they put up a sharp fight against UC Santa Barbara. But 21 kills from George Bruning, 11 from Riggs Guy, and a career high 9 blocks from Dylan Pilkvis got the job